lovely people, welcome back to my channel, or welcome to my channel if you've just joined us. My name is Nell, and before we get into today's video, I just wanted to make a very quick announcement. The other day I got the notification through that we've now passed 100 subs on the Nell's Crypt channel. You guys, thank you so much. You know, it really does mean such a huge deal to me that, you know, you guys seem to really enjoy the content that I'm putting out for you all. When I first started this channel back in December, you know, it wasn't really something that I thought would gain a massive amount of interest in for people. And I mean, I kind of started it for two reasons really. One reason being it was kind of, you know, I saw it as a fun, creative thing to do during the lockdown period. But mostly I kind of started it as a way to kind of help me gain confidence. When I was younger, I had quite a bad speech impediment, which, you know, affected me a great deal through my childhood, and it was something that I'd been bullied for you know, many years really, both during school and unfortunately a bit in the adult world as well, in a working environment. And although it's not as prominent these days, it's still something that I'm quite aware of. And you know, so kind of public speaking, so to speak, or speaking to people who I'm not really familiar with, you know, it's a bit of an anxiety trigger for me really. But you know, it's something that I kind of really wanted to get past, and I thought, well, what better way to try to get past it than, you know, by talking about two of the things which I have a massive interest in. So voila, Nell's Crypt was born. So as a way of saying thank you to all you beautiful, amazing people who have been nothing but supportive of my channel so far, next Monday I am going to be starting a whole week's worth of content. I'm going to be uploading every day for 7 days. It'll be a mixture of true crime and paranormal. And if you guys have any requests or suggestions for, you know, stories or cases that you'd like me to cover, then let me know in the comment box below. Or even better, if you have any stories that you would like to share and have read on the channel and get a whole video dedicated to your story, then feel free to either send me an Instagram message or email. Both my email address and the link to my Instagram will be put in the description box below. So yeah, I'm really excited for this and looking forward to hearing about any ideas that you guys might have for it as well, which, you know, I always love hearing from you all and getting your you know, opinions and thoughts on different topics. So yeah, they'll be next Monday, so make sure you hit that notification bell so you don't miss out on any. But meanwhile, without further ado, let's get into today's story. So as always, grab a drink, dim the lights, and let's get into it. I thought I'd best preface this story by saying I was about 15 years old at the time of the story, and 15-year-old me did a lot of very silly things in this. Okay. She did a lot of very silly things which, as a 15-year-old who's just getting into the whole paranormal, scary side of things, it was a learning experience, let's put it this way. So before I get any comments down below saying, oh, that was really silly, that was really dangerous, you shouldn't have done this, blah blah blah, I know. Okay, trust me, now I know. And if there's any way that I could go back in time and slap 15-year-old me upside the head, I would. However, sadly I can't. So this is the story. It was a learning experience. I have since learned not to do half the things I did in this. Mostly not using a Ouija board. But yeah, let's get into it. So as I said before, I was about 15 at the time of the story. It was the summer holidays and I had a friend round one afternoon and my family had gone out somewhere, I think to visit friends or something like that. So it was just the two of us in the house. And what do two 15-year-olds do when they're bored and one of them was living in a supposedly haunted house? They get the very smart idea of trying to commune with the spirits of the house through the means of a Ouija board. So what do? We get a sheet of paper, we get a pen, we draw up our own Ouija board, and we start trying to communicate with someone. And honestly, I don't remember a great deal about the conversation that we'd had via the Ouija board. I know that we made contact with someone or, you know, something. But the details are kind of sketchy now. Like I said, I was 15, it was a long time ago. No, but the after effects stay in my head and probably will do for the rest of my life. So we talk to the spirit or entity for, I don't know, probably about half an hour, 45 minutes, something like that. We decide to call it a day and move the counter to goodbye. We closed it all down, we say thank you, etc, etc. Then we decided to go to the shop, which is about, I don't know, a 5-minute walk away, because we basically had the munchies. And I remember both of us being like, really tired all of a sudden. So we decided to, yeah, go and get some chocolate or something like that. Basically something to kind of give us a burst of energy. We grab our stuff, we leave my bedroom and close the door. We had this thing in my family where most of the time we'd leave the doors closed whenever we went out. And yeah, walked up the road to the shop, came back, and you know, my family were still out at the time. We weren't expecting them back until probably later on that evening, because where they'd gone was quite a distance away. And we go back upstairs, and the first sign to us that something wasn't right was the fact that my bedroom door was now wide open, which, you know, when we'd left the house, not, you know, 15-20 minutes before, we'd quite definitely closed it. So we thought that was strange. We then walk into my bedroom to find both doors to my wardrobe wide open. Again, this was strange as well, because we'd had no reason to go into my wardrobe at all. You know, yeah, that I hadn't gone into the wardrobe since that morning. Why they were open, we couldn't explain. Then we looked at the board that we'd used. Yes, we'd been incredibly stupid and left us out. We looked down and we'd noticed that the counter had moved. From where the counter, well, where we had left the counter, between the D and the B of goodbye, the counter had then been moved, and it was about halfway up the board towards the word no. We also then realised that the candle that we'd had lit, luckily we'd probably extinguished this before we left and made sure it had been fully extinguished. It was lying on its side by the Ouija board. To some people, these things may not be, you know, as terrifying as they could be. You know, no one got hurt or possessed or anything like that. Whether or not that had anything to do with the fact that we had left the house pretty much straight after, so whatever entity had come through hadn't had time to like affect us in any way. Who knows? But my friend and I looked at each other, got rid of it quite promptly, and spent the rest of the afternoon downstairs waiting for my family to come back. And it's something that's kind of stayed with me ever since, and ever since then I have absolutely no desire to use the Ouija board. Just the idea of them gives me the creeps. In fact, I don't even enjoy using them on the computer game Phasmophobia. For those of you who aren't aware of what a game is, so you're basically a ghost hunter going into various haunted locations trying to determine what kind of ghosts it is that's haunting the location. Yeah, no, I just, no, I can't do it. It just gives me the heebie-jeebies every time. Like I said, this story may not be a particularly scary one in the fact that, you know, no one got hurt through it or anything like that. I think we were incredibly lucky, all in all, the fact that it didn't get any worse. I have kind of a recollection that for a little while afterwards the activity in the house did pick up a little bit. Whether that was something to do with the Ouija board that my friend and I used, or whether it was just coincidental, I don't know. I do remember things happening, like I'd be in the house by myself and I would hear movement either upstairs or downstairs, depending on where I was. So if I was upstairs, I'd hear movement downstairs, and I'd go downstairs to try to, you know, see if anyone was there, you know, if my family were back, whatever, and no one ever was. Or if I was downstairs, I'd hear like movement upstairs. I remember once very clearly being upstairs and hearing the cutlery drawer in the kitchen downstairs like open and like things moving around, and being absolutely terrified. Like I said, I don't know whether things like this were connected to the use of the Ouija board, but yeah, it's definitely put me off ever using one again. It's not worth it. I don't think that, I mean, I know a lot of people think that it's just a game, a toy, whatever, but I don't believe that. I believe that it really can open the door to something, and you don't always know what it is that you're going to be letting in. Like I said, I think we were very, very lucky that what my friend and I experienced wasn't any worse, but it certainly opened 15-year-old me's eyes in the fact of there are some things you just don't mess with, especially not as a 15-year-old kid. I believe that there's a lot about the spirit world that we don't know about and don't fully understand, and what we do understand is only the very tip of the iceberg, and we won't have a full understanding of it until we pass over ourselves. That's it for today's video. It's rather a short one, but I hope that you enjoyed it. If you did, then make sure you hit that thumbs up button, leave a comment, and if you really enjoyed it, then make sure that you subscribe if you haven't already, and hit that notification bell, and we will see you in the next video. Until then, stay safe, and sweet dreams.